Now let's start with getting off the plane when you arrive. One of the first suggestions we have is go to the Visit Japan website. It's not an application, it's a website. At that site, you can download all of your information for customs and immigration. Because when we came through immigration this past time, it was packed.
It was packed and people were trying to fill out the paperwork, but John had already done that before we'd even gotten there. And so
that was it.
That
we
was
breezed
it.
right through. You have a QR code and there you go. So make sure you go to Visit Japan Web and take care of that before you even arrive. We're John and Josephine Haynes of Uncharted Japan, and if you are a first-time visitor to Japan, this is a video for you.
I was born and raised in Osaka as 3 generations before me. So John and I like to come and travel to Japan, to the off-beaten places.
Yeah, we want to help you find the most and make the most of your visit. Now, when you're in Japan, remember that you are a guest.
Yes, that's really important to remember.
And think about that when you're on the trains. Don't talk too loudly or talk on your phone when you're on the trains or subways.
Nobody talks on their phone.
They'll be on their phone looking at maps and playing games and all that, but not talking loudly. Just remember that the country is not an amusement park. It's not a theme park. Some people come here and act like it is. They do crazy, stupid things at the temples and in public. Don't do that. Be considerate of the people around you, polite, and you'll be treated with greater respect. Now, the next thing most people are apprehensive about is transportation. How do you get around? I mean, Japan is a very train-centric society and you'll be on the trains a lot. So when you do that, you need to be aware that there are more than one train line, right?
There are multiple train lines and different companies, and you can look on your map and one's a red line, one's a blue line, one says JR, one says Hankyu. So you really need to study your map.
Now, when you're waiting on a train or a subway, whatever, you're standing on the platform, after you figure out where to stand, that can be a challenge in itself.
Yes.
But when you're there, step to the side, because when the train arrives, the gates will open and you need to let the people get off. You'll see people waiting in line will form a couple different lines. So step aside while they get off and then you can get on.
Yes.
And once you're off.
And once you're off, then you're looking for the escalator or the steps. But if you're going down the escalator, make sure you're standing on the correct side. In Osaka, you're on the right side. In Tokyo,
Elsewhere in the
you're
country, you're on the left side.
But you'll notice the Japanese very politely stand in line and you go to the back of the line and then you make your way down the escalator or down the steps. But you never, ever cut in line. Don't cut in line. It'd be very rude.
Now, another important aspect about traveling and getting around is the use of taxis. We enjoy taxis, right?
Yes, more and more.
Why is that?
Because we're old.
We're old. We don't like to walk. And when you come to Japan, be prepared to walk. You're going to walk a lot. So taxis, yes, you can do buses. Yes, you can do subways and trains, and those are
We
do
a lot.
And they're less expensive, certainly.
Of course, yes.
But I tell you, for convenience, getting in, and they're air conditioned. Sometimes they don't have the air conditioning going as much as we like it, but it drops you off right at your destination. So here's a couple things about taxi. One, when you approach a taxi,
the door automatically, he will open the door. It automatically opens. So don't reach for the door handle.
You're going to want to reach for that door handle every time, but just back off. He'll open it. The taxi driver will open it. When you get in, the taxi driver will close it. And when you get out, the taxi driver will open it. Now, they won't open the door, I've found, until you've got the money in the cash reception thing. You're ready to pay.
No.
I've never seen them do
well,
that.
you've jumped out and I'm always paying.
They don't open the door until you put the money in the spot. So
all right. I don't remember that. But.
Another thing about taxis is definitely you can use your Google Maps. Certainly show them on your phone where you're going, because these cities, particularly Tokyo, Osaka, Yokohama, they're big. And just because they're the taxi driver, that doesn't necessarily mean they know where everything is. So another thing, if you have luggage, that's another nice thing about taking a taxi versus a bus.
Right.
If you have luggage, they have a trunk in the back. They'll load it up for you, and typically they prefer to handle that. You can help, but they like to pack it in just the way they like to pack it in.
Right.
So you just let them do their thing, and they appreciate that.
That's right.
And if you're really a nice customer, they might give you a little treat.
That's right.
A
little piece of candy if you're friendly.
Or something if you're friendly. Now, another very important thing to consider when you are in Japan is that you will do a lot of
A
walking.
lot. More than you actually think you're going to walk. You will be walking a lot.
And something most people don't realize is how large some of these train stations are. The big ones in Tokyo, Osaka, even Kyoto, elsewhere. You're going to spend a lot of time walking just from point A to B.
So first of all, allow the time.
And how about your feet?
Oh my goodness. You have to have the right kind of shoes. And you know, you'll see the Japanese wearing heels. Don't wear heels. Your feet will be hurting.
Be comfortable.
Be comfortable. With shoes, name of the game is comfort.
That's it.
Now, when you're traveling throughout Japan, you're going to have your baggage with you. Nice thing about the hotels, if you get there ahead of time before check-in, which is usually 3 o'clock, most hotels, they will hold your bags for you. It's a real nice thing. But if you're not near your hotel, go to the train station. You can often find lockers, coin lockers such as these. Different sizes. Let's look for the green ones. We're in good shape here because they're empty. Now, later in the day, they will get filled up, especially on a weekend. Now, a lot of the lockers have touch screens such as this one, and this particular one allows both coins to be used as well as IC cards. And if it has a touch screen, you'll almost always find instructions in English.
Please select the action.
And all you got to do is say, I want to put in my bags, tap your IC card, and just follow the instructions, and it's a piece of cake.
Now, when you're planning your trip, you want to go to a certain shrine or attraction, whatever, double check the opening and closing times and the operating dates, because
You can travel a long distance and then realize it's closed.
we're not speaking from any experience.
No,
We've never had this
no.
happen to us. But you will. It will happen on occasion because it's hard to decipher sometimes when things are open and when they are not. Go to the websites, glean as much information as you can.
But some of them do not have websites.
Some of them don't have websites
So-
or the information is dated, but be aware of that and don't make the mistake as we've done
Have
on occasion.
Many occasion.
Many times, not many times. We've done it once or
Well,
twice.
okay, you can also cut that.
Now, something else that will often trip up Westerners, especially those coming from the United States, is how to operate a toilet.
Yeah.
You need to know because here in Japan, they are a little different than back home.
In the 60s and 70s, most of the restrooms were Japanese style, but
In Japanese style,
it means you have to squat.
squat toilets,
Right.
not sit on the toilet.
No, sit on it.
These are pretty sophisticated. So what I want to do is help you avoid a situation which we witnessed just the other day at a local train station when a foreigner pushed the wrong button and sent the emergency crew running in on her. So let me show you a couple of details on this kind of particular thing.
This is a very standard control panel you'll find in most hotels, homes, and such. The most important buttons are those on the top. They simply control the amount of water used. This one is a big flush, this is a small flush. On this panel there is a third, which is for even less water use. There will always be a red or orange button, that is the stop or the off button. The buttons on this row operate the wash feature. So if you want to wash down below, well, the visuals pretty much tell you what is what. On many trains and in some newer public toilets, there will be an emergency call button. Just be sure not to press it unless absolutely needed. Other buttons may control the strength of the water spray, the heated seat, create ambient sound, and sometimes even provide air freshener. These things are quite advanced, and one place to get the inside scoop is a visit to the Toto Museum in Kitakyushu. It's a wonderfully informative and free museum on the island of Kyushu.
So those are some tips to help you make the most of your trip in Japan. We hope you'll have a great time, and be sure to watch our other videos and learn some things about where to go and what to do. And we hope to see you somewhere in Japan. And until next time, sayonara.
Sayonara.